Why don't people watch baseball anymore like they used to? Why isn't it as popular as it was in the 80s, early 90s? One reason is the fact that there really isn't any big name players out there. Um, I would call them like household names, like superstar names out there. There's really none out there. There's not really an ambassador in baseball for baseball. You remember back in the 80s and early 90s, they were like big name players, superstar players. Players like Jose Canseco, Don Mattingly, Dave Winfield, Darryl Strawberry, Dwight Gooden. Those were household names, and you really don't see the, those type of players anymore. Like, I guess I guess baseball is trying to make it where, Bryce Harper and Mike Trout are those type of players. First of all, Mike Trout is too quiet to be a quote unquote superstar. I don't even think his name is that big enough where everybody knows his name. Doesn't really talk that much. He's kind of a private person. Um, if you go to your job right now, I guarantee you 9 out of 10 people don't even know who Mike Trout is. He's not really a big name player compared to like a Darryl Strawberry. Everybody know who Darryl Strawberry is back then, at least back then in the 80s. Everybody knew who Darryl Strawberry was. Everybody knew who Reggie Jackson was. And, those were big names. So there's really none of those big names that can attract an audience. Like a Jose Canseco or Reggie Jackson. You remember? I remember like watching whatever I was doing back in the day, back in the '80s, when Jose Canseco was up to bat. Man, I don't care who you are. You stop what you were doing. You were watching him bat. Or if Reggie Jackson was up to bat, you know, everybody would stop what they were doing, stop what they were eating, and they would watch Reggie Jackson hit on TV. Whether he striked out, hell, his strikeouts were legendary. You know what I mean? And there's not that type of player right now, that superstar player. Players of today they're taught to keep their mouth shut because everybody's so uptight, and you don't really want to offend anybody. The cancel culture and this and that. So there's really no superstars in the game. Another reason why people don't watch baseball anymore is because there's too many teams in the playoffs, man. I mean, let's get real, man. Let's be real, man. Like, there's really no true pennant race, like back in the day, like back in the '80s and early '90s, when they came up with this wild card bullshit. The worst thing that ever happened to baseball, the absolute worst thing that happened for baseball. And okay, the reason they did it was for money. Okay, I get it. And but you could say money destroyed the game of baseball too. Because of that, because back in the day, '80s, early '90s, it was a true pennant race. You had the winner of the NL East and the winner of the NL West straight to the playoffs. None of this other bullshit where you have 50 teams in the playoffs. Hell, half of the damn time the playoff games today are not even on TV. You don't know when the game is played, where it's going to be played, because there's so many freaking playoff games. But back in the day, it was one shot, one kill, man. NL East, NL West, let's go, best of seven. None of this other bullshit where you have 50 teams competing. It kind of dilutes the process, man. Who the hell is going to watch 80 playoff baseball games? Nobody. And less is always better. Less is always more. Baseball is a game as slow as it is. It's boring as shit. If you're sitting there watching the 80 playoff games, um, you know, too many damn playoff games, man. I miss People miss the days of a true pennant race. Like have three or four teams fighting for that one pennant, winning the pennant, the ultimate goal. That was the ultimate goal, man. The ultimate goal was win the pennant, win your division, NL East, NL West, AL East, AL West. Uh, you know, and that made the game exciting, man. That made the game exciting. So that's one reason. Another reason is because the big networks like ESPN, NBC, they don't talk about baseball anymore. They rarely show the highlights of baseball. The big networks like ESPN, Fox Sports, all they do is talk about basketball and football. You know, they got rid of ESPN, got rid of the show Baseball Tonight, which was really popular. So ESPN assumes that people didn't watch baseball back then, which is further from the truth. More people watched baseball in the 80s and early 90s than any time in history. But so they got rid of ESPN. They rarely talk about baseball. They get rid of the show Baseball Tonight, which was really popular. They rarely show the highlights. And you get on these stupid morning shows, like First Take. They the first thing they talk about is LeBron James. LeBron James this. LeBron James that. LeBron James? What did he eat for breakfast? What time is he taking a shit? ESPN, they just don't talk about baseball anymore. So when a young fan sees that, why would they watch baseball? Why would they watch a baseball game? Um, you know, NBC used to have the game of the week every Saturday, man, which was really popular. The big time broadcasters, Vin Scully, Joe Garagiola. The NBC game of the week back in the day was real popular. They had Monday Night Baseball back then. That was real popular. Now all they got these days is the game of the week on Fox. Who the hell watches that? Nobody watches that, man. And then, there just isn't really any good baseball broadcasters like there was back in the day. Like Vin Scully, Howard Cosell. Joe Buck is more of a football guy. He's more of a football guy. His voice is too monotone and too slow, and to be broadcasting baseball. Baseball is a slow game as it is. He just doesn't have the. It's just a bad match. Him broadcasting baseball. They need to put baseball back on NBC and get a broadcaster that truly loves baseball, like Bob Costas. Bring him back. Bring back Monday Night Baseball, which was really popular. It used to come on ABC back in the day. Another thing that why baseball isn't popular or why people don't watch baseball anymore is interleague play. Interleague play destroyed baseball too, man. Because before there was interleague play, the World Series and the All-Star game carried more weight because you were looking forward to seeing stars of both leagues go at each other, to battle each other. And there were some interesting matchups that you were intrigued, that was very intriguing, that during the regular season you wouldn't see. So the All-Star game was kind of a built up to that, man. And the anticipation of that, of seeing matchups that you would probably never see, was it's thrown out the window now because of the interleague play. Because Because interleague play is such commonplace now that there's really no point of watching the game now or watching the All-Star game or watching the World Series because you know the Orioles playing the Mets. We already seen that during the season, so why should I watch the World Series if I already seen that matchup during the regular season? You see what I'm trying to say? Like, and you know, so the interleague play destroyed the baseball, man, because it just got rid of the excitement, man, of the All-Star game, the anticipation of the All-Star game. People don't even watch the All-Star game anymore, which is a damn shame. The baseball All-Star game used to be very popular, but since there's interleague play, there's no reason to watch it because there's just no reason to watch it. And like I said earlier, another reason is I already mentioned it. There's no big personalities in baseball anymore. And let's face it, controversy, it sells tickets. And there's really no big personalities in baseball. Baseball try to make it up with doing these stupid celebrations, throwing water on each other, the little home plate celebrations. It's a bunch of bullshit. Is that going to make me watch baseball more? Hell no. That let them play. No, that's not going to bring fans back. Acting like a lunatic, acting like a little kid, jumping on each other after a celebration like you done wouldn't. That's not going to bring people. That's not going to bring people back, man. That's not going to bring fans back. The game is there's no big personalities. Players today they're robots, man. They're robots. I mean, let's be real, man. I mean, let's face it, man. Controversy sells. Chaos sells. It creates interest. Bryce Harper, no. There's no ambassador of baseball. Because I remember Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson put meat in the seats, as George Steinbrenner used to say. But players of today are robots, man. It's boring. I hate to say this, man, but players of today are lame. They're lame, man. They're lame. The game is lame. I don't know, man. In the 80s, it was just baseball was just part of the mainstream. Because there was just bigger names, man. Nicknames, Catfish Hunter, The Express, Nolan Ryan, The Rocket, Roger Clemens, Mr. October. There's no nicknames anymore, man. I don't know, man. It's just boring, dude. The game. Get back at that. What's going to fix baseball? Less playoff teams. Get rid of interleague play. Bring back the popular shows like This Week in Baseball, Baseball Tonight. ESPN, there was just more shows back then, man, that were more baseball oriented, man, like Baseball Magazine, This Week in Baseball. I mean, I don't know, man. It's just, well, those are my thoughts, man. I mean, hell, I remember. Well, I'm not old enough, but there was a time where there was two divisions in baseball: the National League and American League. There was no four divisions. The winner of the National League and the winner of the American League, the first place, the two first place teams went straight to the World Series. No playoffs. They went straight to the World Series, and I kind of like that idea because that created a true pennant race, But there's no way baseball does that right now. They're too stupid to. But those are my thoughts, man. Why people don't watch baseball anymore, and why it's not as popular like it was in the '80s and early '90s. And in my opinion, the last great year of baseball was 1993. 1993 was the last great year of baseball. Once they created that wild card and that interleague play, destroyed the game, man. Destroyed the game. And then on top of that, the steroid era just made it even worse. Players hitting 70 home runs, 60 home runs, just made it worse. And it's hard to come back from that, man. It's hard to come back from that, but there's simple things that they could do, that can make the game popular again. But those are just my opinion.